Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has slammed NATO member countries in a tweet. He voiced his criticism over the member countries' unwillingness to give a timeline on Ukraine's NATO membership bid. Zelensky's tweet reportedly made the US delegation in Lithuania furious. NATO members have gathered in Lithuania for a highly anticipated summit. NATO leaders have criticized China for threatening Taiwan and deepening ties with Russia. NATO's 31 members issued a joint communique. It accused China of opaquely building up its military power and creating strategic dependency to enhance its influence. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg also said that China's nuclear modernization is unprecedented in speed but has no transparency. Taiwan has accused China of staging a large-scale military drill near the island. These drills involve fighter jets, bombers and warships. Taiwan's defense ministry claims that it detected 32 Chinese Air Force planes entering the island's air defense identification zone. In recent years, China has tried several times to build up pressure on Taiwan's government. North Korea has fired a ballistic missile off its east coast. This is according to South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff. Pyongyang's previous missile launch happened barely a month ago. The latest one is North Korea's 12th missile launch this year. Japan has condemned North Korea's move. A Japanese government spokesperson has said that the missile launch threatens peace and stability in the region. Protests continue in Israel against the government's judicial overhaul plan. Thousands of protesters took to the country's main airport and major highways. Around 1,000 police officials were deployed at Ben Gurion Airport, located just outside Tel Aviv. Protests have flared up as the controversial judicial overhaul plan has survived the first vote in Israel's parliament, the Knesset. Former US President Donald Trump has asked for his trial on illegal possession of classified documents to be postponed until after the 2024 presidential election. Trump's lawyers said that the proposed trial date of December 11th would not give them sufficient time to prepare. The team also said that they are facing challenges in finding an impartial jury due to the election. Last month, Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 counts during an arraignment in Miami. Cuban authorities have said that the US recently had a nuclear-powered submarine at its military base at Guantanamo Bay. Cuba called it a provocative escalation of tensions. The US has said that Cuba is looking to distract from the 2-year anniversary of street protests. Cuba has been urging the US to close its 121-year-old naval base. Myanmar's Supreme Court heard an appeal by the country's former leader Aung San Suu Kyi. The 78-year-old leader faces a series of convictions ranging from election fraud to corruption. She seeks to reduce her 33 years of jail time. Her representatives made arguments over her conviction for breach of the Official Secrets Act. Suu Kyi and her government were ousted in a military coup in February 2021. At least 6 people have been killed in a helicopter crash in Nepal. The helicopter crashed in the Likhu area located near Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. The victims include 5 Mexican nationals. The helicopter was operated by Manang Air, an agency that ferries tourists. The cause of the crash is not yet known. Thailand's Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has said that he is leaving politics. This announcement comes after his political party finished 5th in the general election that happened in May. The party got only 36 seats in the 500-member House of Representatives. Prayut Chan-o-cha served as Prime Minister for almost 9 years. He seized power in a military coup in 2014. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit France and the UAE from July 13th to 15th. The visit will focus on India-France-UAE's trilateral cooperation initiative. In Abu Dhabi, the Indian Prime Minister will be hosted by the UAE's President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Many Americans searched for ways to stay cool as extreme heat gripped several states. The U.S. state of Texas experienced scorching temperatures that reached nearly 40 degrees Celsius. Some residents sought refuge from the heat by cooling off at a water splash area. New footage showed a swollen Connecticut river following a deluge of rain. The Connecticut River stretches to flood-hit areas in the U.S. like the Massachusetts and Vermont. The National Weather Service has reported that the river could hit flood stage on Tuesday. A wildfire has consumed more than 4,000 hectares of a national park in the South American country of Bolivia. Visuals show plumes of smoke coming out of the Otuquis National Park. Authorities say that the fire entered a wet area in the park, which lowered its intensity. The water level of the Yamuna River in India's capital New Delhi has breached the danger mark due to heavy rainfall. This has led to concerns about flooding in the region. Schools in New Delhi have been closed after heavy rains lashed the national capital over the weekend. In the northern states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, officials have warned people against outdoor activities unless necessary. One more African cheetah has died in the Kuno National Park in the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The officials say the death was due to suspected infighting. The male big cat Tejas was brought to the park from South Africa in February this year. His death marks the 7th fatality among cheetahs in 4 months. Swedish climate activists Greta Thunberg joined a demonstration outside the European Union Parliament on Tuesday. This was to call on lawmakers to back a flagship nature restoration law. The European Parliament will vote on it today. The law would set legally binding targets to restore degraded ecosystems throughout the continent. Greenpeace activists displayed a banner in Spain's central Madrid region. This was to raise awareness on climate change ahead of the next general elections. Madrid is battling extreme temperatures brought by the second heat wave of the year. The heat wave is expected to last through Wednesday, with thermometers surpassing the 40 degrees Celsius mark. Scientists say that they have found evidence that the Earth has entered a new geological era known as Anthropocene. They presented evidence of the shift from a lake in Canada's Ontario. Scientists believe that the evidence can help pinpoint the start date of the new era. Fast fashion giant Zara is pledging to get greener. It says that by 2030, all of the company garments will have a reduced impact on the environment. The retailer says about 40% of its clothes will come from recycled fibers. The rest of them will be sourced from sustainable sources. The fast fashion industry has been under fire for the mountains of waste it generates. Australia's Treasurer Jim Chalmers has said that the cabinet will soon decide on the next governor of the country's central bank. Meanwhile, local media reports have said that the decision could be reached as soon as this week. The Reserve Bank of Australia's present governor, Philip Lowe, came under fire over his policy messaging during the COVID-19 pandemic. He had earlier said that rate hikes were not expected until at least 2024. However, the RBA has raised its rates 12 times since then. Financial firm JP Morgan Chase is planning to lay off 63 employees in the US state of New Jersey. The job cuts will take place in September. The bank has said that it's working to redeploy the affected staff. Last month, the US lender cut nearly 40 investment banking jobs. Reports say Walt Disney is exploring strategic options for its Indian business. Its India business comprises of Disney Plus Hotstar streaming service and Star India. Star India encompasses dozens of TV channels and a stake in a movie production company. The company's options include a joint venture or even a sale. Reports add that it's spoken to at least one bank about ways to help the India business grow. Bankrupt retailer Bed Bath & Beyond's Bye Bye Baby chain is set to shutter. The Bye Bye Baby chain is a part of the home goods retailer that sells items for infants and young children. This comes after last-ditch efforts to save the chain fell apart. Brand management firm Go Global Retail was eager to buy the baby chain. However, both parties couldn't reach an agreement on the valuation. Canada's corporate ethics watchdog has launched an investigation into shoemaker Nike. The company is being investigated for benefiting from forced Uyghur labor in its China operations. The investigations were launched after an initial assessment of complaints about the overseas operations of 13 Canadian companies. The Auto Safety Agency of America is opening a probe into more than 3,000 Ford Escape SUVs. The vehicles are being investigated for an error in their doors. The error causes the door to inadvertently open while driving. The agency has said that there have been 25 reports of minor injuries tied to the issue. India-based Godrej Aerospace is in talks to build aircraft parts for plane makers Airbus and Boeing. This comes as jet orders from Indian Airlines reach a record high. India has been pushing for the local manufacturing as well as sourcing of components for aerospace and defense. Meanwhile, companies like Airbus and Boeing have recently committed to more indigenous investment. Tech giant Microsoft has cleared a major hurdle to its plan to buy video game maker Activision Blizzard. The $69 billion purchase has received a much-awaited thumbs up from the US. Meanwhile, a British regulator has also suggested it could reconsider after having opposed the deal earlier. If this goes through, it'll be the biggest ever deal for Microsoft. Indian software services provider Wipro is planning to invest $1 billion in artificial intelligence. The investment will focus on the expansion of AI and analytics options. The company will also develop a new research and development platform. This is just a week after rival TCS said it planned to train 25,000 engineers on Microsoft's AI offering. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has said that 27% of its workers could lose their jobs to artificial intelligence in the coming years. The OECD is a 38-member bloc spanning mostly wealthy nations and some emerging economies. It works on stimulating economic progress and world trade. The organization added that there is presently little evidence of AI replacing human jobs because the technology is in its early stages. Moving to sports, the Marylebone Cricket Club has suggested limiting men's bilateral ODI cricket series following the 2027 ICC Cricket World Cup. The famed club is questioning the value the format adds to an already jam-packed calendar. The suggestion was finalized when MCC's World Cricket Committee met on the sidelines of the recent Ashes Test at Lord's. The MCC's 13-member committee is hopeful that a scarcity of ODI cricket would increase the sport's quality. Officials of the Pakistan Cricket Board and the Board of Control for Cricket in India held 2 rounds of talks in South Africa's Durban on Tuesday. The talks took place on the sidelines of the ICC executives meeting. Both officials from both the countries agreed to hold further talks to resume bilateral cricketing ties. UK and Australian Prime Ministers Rishi Sunak and Anthony Albanese shared a light-hearted moment when they met on the sidelines of the NATO summit. Albanese handed Sunak a printout displaying the current score in the Ashes Test series. He then showed Sunak a photo capturing the controversial stumping incident involving Johnny Bairstow during the second Ashes match. In response to Albanese's gesture, Sunak pulled out a photo of batsmen Mark Wood and Chris Woakes. The 2 English batsmen played crucial roles in England's dramatic victory over Australia just a few days ago in the 3rd Test. Manchester United are edging closer to an agreement for Inter Milan goalkeeper Andre Onana after more talks between the clubs. Discussions over a compromise on the fee have reportedly been very positive after Inter were unwilling to budge on their $55 million asking price. Sources close to the player believe there is a desire from all parties to reach a resolution before Onana is due to report for Inter's pre-season on July 13th. Tottenham have completed the free transfer of Israeli winger Manor Solomon on a 5-year contract. Solomon spent last season on loan at Fulham from Shakhtar Donetsk. He scored 5 goals in 24 appearances in all competitions for the Cottagers. Spurs have also made loan deals for Dejan Kulusevski and Pedro Porro permanent this summer. Japanese forward Kazuyoshi Miura extends his contract with a Portuguese football club. The 56-year-old may be the world's oldest professional footballer. Miura started his football career in Brazil in the 1980s. The details of his contract extension are not known. British tennis player Andy Murray is considering switching sports after his Wimbledon defeat. Andy Murray was knocked out of the tournament in the second round. The two-time Wimbledon champion was overpowered by Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas. He first claimed the Grand Slam singles title in 2013 after defeating Novak Djokovic in the finals. Ukraine's Elina Svitolina beat world number 1 Iga Świątek at the Wimbledon quarter-finals. Svitolina, who ranks 76th in the world, has reached the semis for the second time. The 28-year-old was given a wild card to enter back into the competition. She returned to tennis after a 3-month maternity break. Svitolina secured a spot at the semi-finals after previously beating 4 Grand Slam champions in the tournament. The 2023 Commonwealth Weightlifting Championships hosted by India will begin today. Indian weightlifters are expected to bag several medals despite the absence of star lifters like Mirabai Chanu. Two-time champion Ajay Singh is eyeing a hat-trick of gold medals. India brought home 16 medals in the Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship in 2021. India has finished as the best-performing nation every time barring the 2013 and 2021. This is since the 2011 edition of the tournament. Daniel Ricciardo makes a surprise return to racing in Formula One. He will replace Nick de Vries at Red Bull's second team, AlphaTauri, for the rest of the season. He'll be back in the game and will compete in the Hungarian Grand Prix beginning from July 23rd. The 34-year-old Australian was released by McLaren in 2022. The sale of singer Taylor Swift's Eras concert tour tickets have been put on hold in France. Ticketmaster has said that fans will be posted with a new sale time as soon as possible. The move has not gone down well with Swifties. They've called for more communication about the details of the tickets. In November last year, a ticketing site crashed after millions of people tried to buy Eras tour tickets. Ticketmaster had to cancel the sale of tickets, citing extraordinarily high demand. American chef Kristen Kish will be the new host of reality TV show Top Chef. Kish will replace Padma Lakshmi. Kish won Top Chef Season 10, as she has frequently appeared on the show as a guest judge. One Tree Hill actor Bethany Joy Lenz has revealed that she was in a cult for a decade. Joy Lenz added that there is a lot to tell and one day she will pen down her experiences. Without going into details, the actor said, and I quote, "This would be a really valuable experience to write about and the 10 years of recovery after that." American actor Kevin Costner has been ordered to pay more than $129,000 to his former wife in child support. This is more than double of the proposed amount for the same. Costner and his former wife, Christine Baumgartner, who is also a handbag designer, had 3 children together. Costner is also required to pay $200,000 in attorney's fees. Britney Spears' memoir called The Woman in Me will be released on October 24th this year. Spears shared a post on Instagram announcing the release date with the caption, "It's coming, my story, on my terms, at last." In June 2021, Spears testified that she felt her conservatorship was abusive. The conservatorship was ultimately terminated. Singer Kevin Jonas' wife, Danielle Jonas, has revealed that she was asked to join the Real Housewives of New Jersey. However, she turned down the opportunity. Danielle Jonas joked, "I think I would die. They would kill me." Kevin Jonas jokingly added, "It's like bringing the lamb to the slaughter over there." K-pop girl group G-Idol are all set to release their first ever English soundtrack called I Do. The song will be released on July 14th. I Do will be G-Idol's first release with Asian-focused American music company 88 Rising. Actor Tom Holland has revealed why he chooses to keep his relationship with actor Zendaya private. He said, and I quote, "My relationship is the thing I keep most sacred. We both feel it's the healthiest way for us to move forward as a couple." Holland met Zendaya in 2016 during her audition for Marvel's Spider-Man movie. Actor Emily Blunt has revealed that she's taking a break from her acting career to spend more time with her children. Blunt has 2 daughters, 9-year-old Hazel and 7-year-old Violet, with actor John Krasinski. She said that there is a great emotional cost attached to long assignments. Blunt stars in the upcoming Christopher Nolan film Oppenheimer. 4-time Grand Slam tennis champion Naomi Osaka has given birth to a girl. The 25-year-old welcomed her first child in Los Angeles with rapper boyfriend Corday. The couple had announced the pregnancy in January this year.